There are playoff spots being clinched. There are seedings being figured out. We learned a lot about how this playoff field is going to look on Sunday, and no result was bigger than the one in Landover, Maryland. Let's head there.
Second and goal at the 10. Snap to Daniels. Eagles break 4. Into the middle of the end zone.
Touchdown!
Touchdown, Washington! Jameson Crowder! Amazing! Clutch football from the Washington offense! They've done it again!
Done it again, and this is absolutely a dart. Now think about this. Jaden Daniels, the magic man, the kid, the come from behind victory. What a throw, what a catch, what a play.
Unbelievable.
I mean, how many signature wins does this rookie need? I love you, Brock Bowers, but just give Jaden Daniels the award. 36-33, the Washington Commanders get it done in a fourth quarter comeback victory over the Philadelphia Eagles, who played most of the game without their quarterback, Jalen Hurts. Kenny Pickett got it done, but that doesn't take anything away from what Jaden Daniels did against this Eagles defense. He put up 36 points on them. He came back from 27-14 down in the fourth quarter. Shook, just what stands out to you most from a 5-touchdown performance from Daniels, and yet another just kind of magical moment for a franchise that it really feels like is turned the page completely from the Dan Snyder era for good?
Yeah, a 5-touchdown performance with 2 interceptions. And those are important interceptions because Daniels overcame that. One of them, he sailed. It was a big mistake. You'd think that might doom younger quarterback or other quarterbacks that maybe aren't as mentally tough as Jaden Daniels. But no, he went right back to work, led him down the field, threw a beautiful touchdown pass to Terry McLaurin, threw a couple of really nice touchdown passes to Olamide Zaccheaus by extending the play, and then that dot over the middle, throwing it into an open window before the receiver is even there because Zach Bond, I don't know why he put Zach Bond in coverage in the middle of the field, leaves it open for him, and he throws it perfect dot touchdown. It demonstrated to me the composure and the confidence and the maturity that I've seen a lot in Jaden Daniels this year. I even saw it in New Orleans last week, even though they barely won that game. You've seen it throughout most of this season. He is so calm and collected and just sure of himself, and that's what allows him to lead his team back to victories like this. And it was only possible because, hate to say it, Jalen Hurts gets knocked out of this game in the first quarter because the Eagles were rolling. The Commanders had no answer for Saquon Barkley. Soon as Hurts gets out of the game and Kenny Pickett comes in, they shift their defensive strategy. They go from 2 high safeties to 1. They put more guys in the box to stop the run. It limits Saquon. Eagles have to find other ways to make things happen. Their guys are dropping passes, and the Commanders are getting every opportunity in front of them, and they're capitalizing, and they get a big win.
Yeah, and I think that's absolutely fair to point out Hurts missed most of this game, and I have heard people say, well, Hurts wasn't playing defense, and yeah, that's true. But when Jaden Daniels throws that interception with under 4 minutes to go in another world, that's where Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley have the drive that kind of ices the game. Instead, they end up settling for a field goal on a short drive, only 4 plays, and Jaden Daniels gets the ball back. Now, that doesn't change the fact that he got it with 1:58 to go against what's been the hottest defense in the league. And at one point, they had a snap with about 23 seconds left, a 3rd and 1. And if this hadn't worked out for them, I probably would have been killing them in the postgame. They decide to run the ball there with Brian Robinson. They don't get the spike off till 11 seconds to go. So you only had time there, Shook, for probably 2 more plays. And that's where you got to give Daniels a lot of credit, just between him and Cliff Kingsbury and Dan Quinn, the way they've managed these sort of situations. Daniels has 81 yards rushing on the day as well. Like, he always seems to play his best when it matters the most, and that's what you love. This is the first time Washington has been 10-5 since 1991. That is absolutely outrageous.
Yeah, Magic Johnson was celebrating afterwards. He said they clinched the playoff spot, and a little premature there, Irv, as we got to wait for a couple more things to settle down. But those 81 yards rushing, a huge chunk of that came on a 4th and 11, where Jaden Daniels just steps through and Jalen Hurts had a significant absence in this game. CJ got run from the game, CJ Gardner-Johnson, for 2 unsportsmanlike penalties. I have to think it'll be a little more difficult for Washington to do what they did, especially in the secondary, kind of exploiting some mismatches, as you mentioned, with Zach Bond there late if CJ was able to play. But not just overcoming those turnovers, there were 5 of them. It wasn't just the Jaden Daniels interception. Brian Robinson had the ball stripped out, as well as a special teams play. And there was so much leading the Eagles' way other than losing their quarterback and one of their better players in the secondary. But they had opportunities, big opportunities, like a 3rd and 6 late where Devontae Smith ran a great route. Kenny Pickett hits him on a slant, and Devontae just drops the ball, something that he rarely does.
In the gun, Pickett. He puts Dotson in motion. Pickett is back. He's looking. He is firing. Juggled and dropped by Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith had it in his hands. Maybe a touchdown, and he dropped it.
Was looking for the pathos there from Merrill Reese. He's a pro on WIP. And you heard it. You heard it because that would have taken the under 2-minute warning. The Commanders would have had to use their timeouts. He might have scored a touchdown on that play. And sometimes, Shook, that's what playoff seeding and spots and seasons come down to, are just you need to get a break and then you need to take advantage of a break. What did you think about the Washington defense actually in this game against Pickett? You know, the Eagles go 3 for 16 on 3rd down. I know they struggled early. Did it make you feel any differently about this team in general, which looks very much headed to the 6th seed here in the NFC?
No, I mean, I felt good about their performance because there was times where they would get after Kenny Pickett and he would have nowhere to go. He'd be under pressure. There was a time when they slid the protection to the left and left Dante Fowler with a free rush to sack Pickett on a key 3rd down. That stuff has happened, and then it happened plenty in this game. But also, the Eagles played the 4th quarter as if every pass catcher went to the sideline, got a big tub of Crisco out, and just coated their hands in it because they dropped passes left and right. They were accurate throws, a lot of them, that Pickett put on the money, and they just didn't finish the catch. It felt like one of those games where, like, I know, Patrick, you're very anti-momentum, but the momentum was just shifting against them because they kept dropping these passes. It's like they were playing tight. And as they stacked up one after another to another, by the time Devontae dropped that, I was like, well, that just fits the way this whole 4th quarter has gone. Now, that's not necessarily something that was forced by the Washington defense. There was a catch that Saquon Barkley made that Bobby Wagner finished the play through and knocked it out as he was trying to finish the catch along the sideline. That was a huge breakup. That one credited to the Washington defense. But, I mean, they also forced turnovers. They picked off Pickett after he finished off the first drive in which he appeared after Hurts got knocked out. He comes in and throws a touchdown pass. Next drive, he throws a pick, like, immediately. And it gets them back in the game. So they definitely did their part to keep the Commanders in this game and buy them the opportunity, especially considering the 5 turnovers that Patrick mentioned. A complimentary win for the most part. A crazy one, but a complimentary win with a little bit of help on your side with the fact that Hurts wasn't playing.
Yeah, more than a little. There's no way they beat a Jalen Hurts Eagles team with 5 turnovers if he's out there.
No.
I'm sorry, but it's just how it works out. And I said they're headed for the 7th seed. I shouldn't have said that, or the 6th seed. The Packers or the Commanders will probably be the 6 or the 7, and it's too hard right now to guess. But this absolutely puts a big dent into the Eagles' chances of winning the number 1 seed in the NFC. It is out of their hands now, and it is almost certain that they're going to be the 2 seed, with the winner of the NFC North very likely being the 1 seed. Next Gen Stats only gives them a 4% chance because they didn't have the tiebreakers anyways against the Lions and probably against the Vikings, and now they're behind both of them at 12-3. So a really costly loss. Nick Sirianni was just saying how sloppy he thought it was in retrospect. It's funny how it's like, yeah, that's all true. And yet if Devontae holds on to that, it's a pretty gutsy win to win against your division rival on the road. And you had great things like A.J. Brown was just, handling Marshawn Lattimore, who was out there. Marshawn Lattimore must have had 3 pass interference calls in this game, and even then, A.J. Brown was beating him on slants. A.J. Brown, to me, he's on my All-Pro team. I don't care what the numbers say. He is just an outrageously good player, but a huge missed opportunity for the Eagles, and it probably means they're going to be headed on the road if they're lucky enough to make the NFC Championship game.